Let's go.
Puppy.
Uh-huh.
So I was asked, why do you guys call him Nick Puppy? I'm like,
It just started to happen. I don't know. I don't know the story behind it.
so I was gonna ask you, I was like, how did you get the nickname Puppy? Because ever since I started working here, everybody calls you Puppy. I'm like, well, I kind of thought because when I first got here, that's when your daughter was born. So I was like, oh, so he's a puppy again. So they call you Puppy. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Do you know why they started calling you Puppy? I know now.
I don't know, and I never really asked.
If you had to guess,
Like I'll walk to Carlos' room and it's like puppy, and then I'll make a scene, and then like he even has a picture of me on his wall, and it says Papi, and it points to me to an old picture of me. I'm like, I don't know, whatever, just go with it, you know.
You mean this picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly why. I was like, how did this come to be? And I asked him, who came up with the name Papi? And he's like, oh, it was Tata.
Yeah.
Tata came out with the name
Yeah.
Papi. I was like, why do you call him Papi? He's like, well, he's our Papi Chulo. I was like, that's it. He's like, yeah, that's it. He's our Papi Chulo. And so he has this picture in his classroom, and it says, my favorite teacher, El Papi Chulo, El Guapo. So that's, I'm like, oh, that's how it came to be. But I always thought it's because when your daughter was born, you're a papi again, you know, so you call you papi. But that was the story behind why we call you papi.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know the full story.
Okay, I didn't.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
And this okay, I knew. I think I knew that much, but I thought there's more story behind it. But apparently there's not.
That's it.
But on that topic, and you have your own. That we.
Yes. And you don't get to choose your nickname sometimes.
No, it just you can, like, some people do, but it just doesn't stick right. I thought the movie, remember Bull Durham?
Yeah.
He suggests, hey, I want people to call me this, and sometimes stars do that, but it just doesn't stick well. Yeah,
and that's kind of what we're gonna get into today.
Yeah, we have a couple great interviews.
What goes into a good nickname, and that's the topic for today. Is what goes into a good nickname.
Yeah.
And so, like, for you, what goes into a good nickname?
Like sometimes people suggest or sometimes people say it, like they've made stuff up about me, but stuff just doesn't stick. You don't know nickname is ever really stuck. Like I had I had some high school friends, they come up with some, and they have their own with the inner circle, but it doesn't really stick. There's a couple of other ones here and there, but the one that really stuck around here is that one. Like even in Mex, I like with the baseball team, I don't really have a nickname. Everybody has a free, like when people used to,
especially
when those guys would request me on Facebook, the guys from the team are like who else? Who is Elo Boyo Arena? And I look at the picture, oh, that's our coach, Boyo. Or the first time I met the guy that runs the team, his name is Javier Cardenas. And but they never referred to, hey buddy, everybody called him buddy. And I finally asked somebody on the side, dude, why do they call him buddy? He's like, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is because he calls everybody buddy. He calls everybody, hey buddy. Like everybody he addresses like that. So I guess down there, like who calls anybody buddy? So he just started. So they started. That was his nick. Even on the back of his jersey, it didn't him.
So that's kind of like the beauty of a nickname is like you don't necessarily get to decide what nickname you get, right?
So,
and a lot of it has to do with, well, it could be a variety of things, right? Like you get a nickname because of the way you look, or something that you've done, or something that you say. Like, do you really get to decide how people refer to you? But at the same time, like, you know, in our culture, Mexicans, we're ruthless with nicknames sometimes, you know? Like, think about, like, you know, cultural nicknames, the classic nicknames. You know, you're the catcher and your little league team, and usually the catcher and your little team is the chubby kid, right? And so what do you typically call a chubby kid growing up?
El gordo.
El gordo. Hey, gordo, gordito, or gorda, you know, like. And so, like, if you're not, you know, part of the culture, you're like, you're calling that kid fat. It's like, technically, yeah, but it's kind of like a term of endearment. And a lot of nicknames are that way, you know. It's like, it's because, you know, that's how I refer to you, but it's not, the intentions aren't necessarily bad. Like calling somebody flaco, somebody güero or pelón, it's like physical attributes, right? But if you call someone, like for example, Chino, it's like, hey, did you just call him Chinese? Like, why? Well, because of his eyes. And it's like,
and he's not Asian at all.
and he's not in like, and somebody like a friend of mine, he's from Wisconsin. He's like, dude, that's kind of racist, right? I'm like,
Well,
yeah. Well, I mean,
and then what if you're Mexican and you're darker, and no African in you whatsoever?
What do you
they
call
still
him?
drop in negro.
it's like,
And so if you translate it directly, it might sound very, very racist.
But then I say it's like
on the other side of the border.
culturally on the other side of the border, it's not so much the intention of calling you something in a derogatory way. It's just like that's just how we refer to you because of your physical attributes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is it something that might be frowned upon nowadays? Maybe, maybe not. But hey, we all have different traumas, and if your nickname gave you a trauma, then oops, like.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. But like growing up, I started thinking of some of the classic nicknames that I knew, and I was like, man, I have so many friends, and like, for example, my little brother, we call him. My cousin started calling him. I don't even know exactly why it started, but I could just kind of assume. Started calling him Funky, and then from Funky, it turned into the Funk. It became a thing, and then from the Funk, Fongardo, right? Because it's kind of like a play on word. So like certain nicknames have nicknames for the nicknames, right? And it goes and goes and goes. And so, but in some places, getting a nickname is just a way to show that you're being accepted, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like a rite of passage if you think about it.
Yeah.
Right? You're accepted because we gave you a nickname, and we might be making fun of you, but
fun of you.
But at the same time, we're welcoming you into
The raza is just different, and I'll forget that I had this student in my classroom, a white kid, right? And this is when I first started, within the first 5 years teaching, and all the raza, they were all like bagging on him all the time, but I could tell they liked him, right? Mm-hmm. This kid would get all buttered about it. They pronounce his name wrong on purpose, and just to mess with him, right? And he would get all flustered. And one day, all the kids left. I think I let the kids leave early, and I kept them behind. Like, dude, you know why they rag on you like this? Like, why? Because they actually like you.
Yeah.
It's like, what? He's confused. Like, dude, just go with it. Mm-hmm. Laugh at what they tell you, and dish it back a little bit. But dish it back like in a good spirit, like not somewhat putting them down, but like putting them down like you like them, and just do it. Just do it. So it came a little awkward at first. He got the hang of it. By the end of the year, I swear to you, like I was giving my latte speech, and like, all right, hey, so and so, Eddie, stand up. The kid's name is Eddie, and I was like, I just want to give props to Eddie for dealing with everybody's crap all year, and sure enough, all the rest of y'all started clapping, like, yeah, they loved it, and the kid loved it, and so you're from outside the culture, man, and outside freaking brutal from.
And that kind of reminds me too, like, some of my friends, a few of my friends, till this day, they call me Rennie, and I was thinking about like, oh, how did that start? And I remember like when I was like in elementary, I can't remember what exact teacher mispronounced my name. My name's Renee, and they called me Rennie. And from there, it's like, Rennie, and it's kind of like laughing about it, but then it just kind of stuck. So a few of my friends refer to me as Rennie because back then they mispronounced my name, and boom, that's one of the nicknames that I've had throughout. I mean, we all have a bunch of nicknames and stuff. Like here at work, everybody has a variety of nicknames. We can get to like a few that some of our department members have, but it's fun, right? It's fun, and so
man, the one you told me today about Pete's buddy.
So Pete was telling me stories like I heard this. It was a joke, really. It was a joke. So he says, I heard this joke about a nickname.
It's great. It's all brutal.
Dude, yeah, it's like, I think it was a Mexican comedian who said that there's this guy that they call Simba. From The Lion King, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, they call him El Simba. I'm like, why do they call him El Simba? Because his uncle killed his dad. I'm like, holy I'm like, what? Like, it was so.
It's not funny, but it's funny.
Well, it's a joke,
Yeah,
so it's funny, but it's just like savage, like.
But you know the dude they told him to his face, and they're comfortable with him.
God.
They were comfortable enough with him to lay that nickname on him, and he laughed about it. You know what I mean? So,
but I mean, it was like, damn, that was savage. So
that's a great example of how the rest could be.
So what goes into a good nickname? We decided, you know what, for this podcast, why don't we go ask some of our friends and our colleagues? Yeah. And so we did. Yeah. And so after school, before school, we went around and asked a couple of our friends and colleagues, say, hey, what goes into a good nickname?
That's great responses.
And share any stories they have. And man, we had some good ones. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it.
You know, so let's go ahead and share a couple and see what they have to say.
All right. Hope you enjoy the next few clips. So here you go.
Let's listen to them.
All right. We got Mr. David Gonzalez here. Question of the day.
What's up?
What goes into a good nickname for you?
Okay. So what goes into a good nickname? I think classically, Mexican culture, it'll probably be like one of your insecurities, that you have, and like your mom will name you like Orejon, like, when she got mad at me. But then anything that you do and is it just solidifies that legend, right? Of a true nickname that will last throughout the years. Okay. So I have a good story to tell you if you have time.
All right, tell me about it.
You have time?
Yeah, I got it. Tell me.
All right. So legend has it, back in the mid 80s when Mr. G was in elementary school.
Where exactly?
Somerton, Arizona.
Soma gang.
Boom. Okay. There was a rumor around one day that this guy had asked this girl out, that he expressed his love for her, right? He's quite a few years older than I am. I think I was in fourth, so a couple years, probably like sixth grade or so. And rumor had it that this gentleman goes up to this girl and says, hey, I really like you. Mm-hmm. And, I would really like it if you would be my girlfriend. Dang. I don't have a rose to offer you, but I do have a mazapan.
Dang.
So you know what a mazapan is, right?
Who doesn't?
Okay, so just in case you don't, check it out. Mazapan.
There it is. Let me zoom in on that. De la Rosa.
Mazapan de la Rosa.
That's gold right there. That's what.
So if you can understand the connection there, he didn't have a rose to give her, but he did have a mazapan de la Rosa, right?
It's better than flowers.
Yes, it's better than flowers, especially Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, right? Coming up. So the girl sees it and unfortunately rejects this gentleman.
Her loss.
Her loss, exactly, because he's a great guy. He's funny, witty, and rumor had it that he offered her a mazapan de la Rosa instead of a rose, right? So ever since then, we knew him as El Mazapan.
The one and only.
The one and only.
Nice. So, all right, there it is.
All right.
Sas. All right, here I am with Mrs. Magnolia Martinez, and the question for the day is, what goes into a good nickname?
Uy. Okay, so you have to be something that we can make fun of you for.
Okay.
Something that represents you. I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one. No, but definitely something that I have to make fun of you for.
For sure.
Always, for sure. And it's just part of, it just means acceptance, right? Like, if I give you a nickname, it's because I like you.
Okay.
And so.
It's like a term of endearment.
It's a term of endearment. Yes, that's what it would be.
I'll take that.
Okay.
And do you have any interesting nicknames or nickname stories that you can share with us?
For me? Nicknames that I have?
You or anybody that you know.
Okay. I'm going to share mine.
Okay.
Long time ago. No, I can't share mine because I'll never let it die down. I can't.
No, it's okay.
No, okay, take it back. I'm going to tell you a story about this guy.
Okay.
This guy I grew up with, right? He used to always wear these cowboy boots and a hat. And so that was just kind of like, it was my brother's friend, right?
Okay.
And he said, mira, he's El Charro. El Charro's kind of like a Mexican cowboy, right?
Yeah.
But that was his name. But unfortunately, this guy started drinking a lot, and he drank heavily. So there were you might have. So every time we'd have like family gatherings, just little party stuff, he would grab, bottles, and because he didn't have money, right? So he would grab them and he'd put them inside his jacket. Mm-hmm. So long story short, this guy ends up and he's trying to put him in the car so that he can drink later. So he drink after party, and then he take that stuff into the car, and then he could drink after, right? So, and we all knew he did that. That was kind of like our thing. And they go, "Ay, mira el charro, oye el charro, el charro," because we knew he was taking beer, right? So one day he was like super faded. Is this for school?
It's for,
okay.
It's for
so then the guy, it's like one of those long parties, right? So then he takes some stuff, and everybody knows that he's walking away. And then all of a sudden somebody goes, "Charro!" But he jumps and he gets scared because he was drunk, right? So he goes like this, and he drops all the caguamas on the floor, and everybody makes a big old deal. The last thing you can do is like drop your beer, right? So now every time that anybody's out like drinking too much, or someone's coming out and just coming over para gorrear. No, I don't know what the word is in English. Gorrear is like
gorrear.
Gorrear. I don't know what gorrear means, but
like a mooch.
No, like a.
Yeah, well, we call them.
What's correr? Maybe that's your next topic, correr, because I got plenty of those. Okay. Well, anyway, so now anytime some guy comes in over, just basically, takes all your stuff, te gorrea, right? Mm-hmm. We go charro. So Wait, so whenever, so if I ever call you charro, it's because you're a drunk and you're smooching off of all our stuff, like you're freeloading. That's the word.
I think I know the guy.
You. Yeah. So charro now has turned in. It's a term of endearment. We love the guy, but he's charro. So
it has more than one meaning.
It has more than one meaning. All so right. It just kind of depends. Yeah. So that's charro, and I'm not telling you mine, so don't ask.
Okay. Well, there. Shout out to charro.
Charro.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Here with Mr. Cordova, and Mr. Cordova, what goes into a good nickname?
I think a good nickname needs to be catchy. It has to be probably like 1 or 2 syllables at the most. I've had several nicknames growing up. I can think of 3. In high school, they used to call me Show Enough from a movie that I would watch. It was one of my favorite movies.
The Last Dragon.
That Last Dragon. Who's the master?
That's right,
Show
baby.
Enough. And but one that stuck for a very long time. I've also been called Izzy, but one that stuck since I was in grade school was Ish, I-S-H, and that was primarily because my grade school teachers could not pronounce my name, Ismael Cordova. And I had many teachers always say Ishmael. Ishmael. She drive me nuts.
But it's not I-S-H, it's I-S.
It's I-S-M.
Yeah.
My name's Ismael.
Still.
Yeah.
That nickname, I never knew this. That nickname came from a mispronunciation.
Correct, from my elementary teachers. And I remember one time I had a teacher tell me, "Can I just call you Ish?" And I just said, well, I said, I guess, but, and then it stuck. Everybody started calling me Ish. And I'm like, what is this? This is not Moby Dick, but anyway, so it stuck. Ish stuck. Yeah. And that's the nickname that it's been around.
It's not up to us whether they stick sometimes. It just happens,
Even some of my softball jerseys, men's league softball, in the back it says Ish. Yeah. And it's just kind of stuck. It's easy. It's easy to pronounce, but it's kind of interesting how I got that nickname.
I never knew that story. It's a great story. So
the teacher would not take the time to actually learn to pronounce my name, which is, I thought, now as an educator, I think it's rather sad because I always make great efforts to make sure I can pronounce my students' names correctly.
More power to you. I mispronounce names all the time.
Yeah.
And now, don't you know you pronounce my name wrong? I am? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's do it. Say your name.
Yeah. And then I even made like little audio notes for myself to make sure I pronounce it correctly.
How about what is one of your favorite nicknames? Like, do you have any friends or certain stories of just people you know in general who have interesting nicknames and how they came up with them?
Oh man, I have some great ones, but they're not school appropriate, and that's so unfortunate because I have some good ones.
Always, man.
But I think one of the ones where, especially in the Mexican culture, how sometimes we can be so raw and name people for their actual qualities or attributes that they have. Like if a little kid is, let's just say, overweight, they call them gordo or gorda. I mean, that's brutal for this kid. Could you imagine they grow up and they have self-esteem issues?
Well, this side of the border is brutal. That side of the border is, hey, get over it.
Get over it. It's acceptable, but man, it's
just funny. Yeah.
But I just sometimes I've seen parents call their kids even at the store. Yeah. Gorda, vente pa acá, and I'm like, dude, she's severely overweight, and you're calling her gorda. That's not cool.
Yeah.
But it's just so unfortunate. I have some great ones, but
so many things we can't talk about. So many good nicknames. Yeah. All right, Mr. Cordova, thank you very much.
Oh man, I'm glad we got those 3.
So I was talking to David about his story.
Yeah, I don't know David as well. So I'm we talked a little bit,
Well,
but I'm glad you got him a
because
camera.
we both grew up in the same place.
Yeah,
And,
but that was
the
a pretty
idea-
cool, that was a pretty cool nickname story.
Yeah, and that kind of goes with the idea that a nickname can be given to you by something you do, right? And so this idea that you're gonna give a girl mazapan because you don't have flowers, if the mazapan has a flower, it's just like an innocent, fun gesture. But his friends took that and just went.
What grade is that dude in Maspan? Is it elementary?
So this
Junior
was like
high?
back in the day. He said he was like in 6th grade, junior high area. He started, liking girls or whatever. So he gave the girl mazapan. She turned him down, but they're like kind of making fun of him. Oh, you gave a girl mazapan, so we call him mazapan.
We'll make fun of him because it didn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it worked, well, he's probably might still get the same nickname, but it might be a little twisted.
And it's funny because that same idea, it just popped in my head right now. One of my best friends, we used to refer to him, and sometimes we still do. We refer to him as el easy bake oven. You know what an easy bake oven is, right?
Yeah.
So I remember one time we were actually in high school. We were seniors in high school, and we go to Toys R Us. And he's like, "Oh, I gotta look for an easy bake oven for my niece." And I'm thinking to myself, like, "The hell? Since when do you have a niece?" I had no idea. So I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So we're going. I go and help him pick out this easy bake oven, thinking for a kid. Well, it turns out he bought this girl that he liked. That actually ended up being, it was one of my sister's friends. I found out later. He bought this girl an easy bake oven because she was like, when they were talking, it's like, "Oh, I always wanted an easy bake oven." But he was playing it off as like, "Oh, I'm buying it for my niece," because he didn't want us to know that he was buying this girl that he liked. Because he didn't want us to make fun of him.
Yeah,
but after the fact, we found out, we started cracking. I was like, easy bake. Why are you trying to hide it? We found out who the girl was. And
it's going to be even worse.
And he made it worse by trying to hide it. And I was like, why are you trying to hide it, dude? It's not like she was a bad-looking girl or anything. She's a really pretty girl. And so,
how do you pick
so man, we're getting crap for it. So we started calling it an easy bake oven.
Yeah. And all these guys' defense, easy bake oven, mazapan. Like I remember, elementary and junior high and high school. Man, I had no game. I had man, if I ever hooked up with anybody, it's usually because like they talked to me because I was always scared. I was terrible. I would have been like one of those guys picking up somebody with a mazapan. I'm sure I have a bunch of stupid stories that other people remember that I chose to forget.
Yeah. But what I liked about what like Mags was saying is like it's term of endearment. So this guy Charro, it's taking on a whole nother meaning, right?
Yeah, that was absolute gold. That is like you have this cowboy figure, but the cowboy for the guy that shows up like that, like he's stealing stuff from the party. Everybody knows he still tries to get sneaky. And the fact that at one of the events he actually drops it, and that's even worse.
Yeah,
when you drop the beer, when you drop any beer, whether you're trying to steal it or just you're bringing it to the party. And I remember one time I was in San Diego with my wife's cousin Juan, and there was a couple other guys. We were walking, and we walked. It was like 2 blocks to walk to, or block or two to walk to the store, right? We went to some Shell, and we were gonna drink, and we got a couple of 18-pack bottles, right? So we got them. We're walking back, and I'm carrying 2. Somebody else might have more. So, but at that time of the year, it was like the fall or so. I remember it was at nighttime, and it was kind of cool. I remember they have all these trees right here on the side, and I started walking, and all of a sudden, I felt like this spider web hit my face. I felt this spider web, and I have an issue with spiders. Like I am not good with spiders.
Spiders and cockroaches.
I wouldn't say I'm hardcore like arachnophobic. But there's something there, like some kind of foot. So I felt it just, like if you're walking into a net, but it's a spider web, I was literally going like this, and I literally if the chair was in the way, I would do it. Drop all the way to the ground, and then boom,
like
I broke bottles. And it doesn't matter if I got bit by the spider. I'm with Mexicans, and you know how that goes. Boom. Hey, I get up, I'm all freaked out. What's a spider? Okay, I'm not bit, I'm freaking out. And they're all looking at me like they know exactly what happened. They know exactly what happened, and I'm sure they assessed me. They know I was fine, but they didn't address it at all. Hey, you okay? You're the Mexicans, man. Hey man, why'd you break the beer? And that was the whole thing the rest of the night.
You know what would have been funny is if they started calling you El Arañas. The spider.
Yeah, that's how things go.
Spiders and cockroaches.
Yeah. They came up with another nickname for me that night. No, it was another party because I was with them at Tijuana one time at his family's party, and it's terrible. Yeah. But what happened? It was they didn't, well, it was in Tijuana, like dirt floors, the houses, like everybody's super poor, right? But nobody cares. We're sitting there partying, and I went to the restroom and I came back. He's like, well, how'd you do that? It's like, what do you mean? How'd you go to the restroom? There's no toilet paper. I was like, I didn't go number one. I didn't go number two. I went number one. Like, but that's all you need is a stigma. And sure enough, these fools like, dude.
Never let
you. Dude, because if you see, I don't wear high socks, so it looks like I'm not wearing socks.
Oh, you got some new chucks?
I got some fresh chucks.
You getting overload or what?
Well, yeah.
My old ones.
Yeah. So it looks like I'm not wearing socks, so right away they start munching my balls. No socks, Nick. Yeah, and it was like, dude, these guys, they were rude like the rest of for the next 2 weeks. But that's the thing, since I was able to sit there and take it just all the shit talking, you're accepted. Yeah. But if you get buttered, now you're gonna get it even worse.
El calcetín.
You cannot show that you're getting buttered.
So there you go.
If you show the group you're getting buttered, you're gonna get laid on.
It's gonna get even worse. Yeah, it's even worse.
So you gotta be careful with that.
You gotta take it.
And then take it. So that was a great story from Mags. And then we got Izzy. So he mentioned.
So hey, Izzy, his ish story. That's like me. Like they call me Rennie because they mispronounce it.
And we mispronounce kids' names all the time. Yeah.
And that's because some names are like new. They're like, I've never heard a name like this. And so and I tell kids at the beginning of the year, like, hey, it's gonna take me some time to learn your names. In the meantime, if I just say, hey, Bobby to a boy, or Janet to a girl, I'm just trying to get your attention because that's like a quick and simple Bobby, and they'll like turn around like, oh, I'm not Bobby, I know, but I need your attention. So like it's a quick little nickname I could give him. But with Ish, it was funny because and he had the chow hat and everything. Yeah. I didn't get his reference to Moby Dick until I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we had to Google it. So I've never read Moby Dick. You said you haven't.
But no, that's interesting because a lot of times we get nicknames because of the mispronunciation. Now, for the next two interviews that we're gonna go and show, it's so funny how they play into each other without them even.
They play off each other, totally separate interviews. They did not know.
They didn't even know, and they talk about a similar story.
I don't know if you told Ryan that we interviewed AJ. I don't know if you did AJ interviewed Ryan, but they actually talk about each other, and you might catch it.
So let's take a look.
You'll enjoy this.
We are with the Ryan Jeffries, the reason why Nick Santana became a teacher.
Don't put that shit on me.
We're talking about nicknames. What goes into a good nickname?
I've thought about this long and so hard. One, it's got to be iconic. But with iconic, it's got to be ironic as well.
That rhymes.
Thanks. And lastly, it's got to be memorable. When I hear or say a nickname, it typically takes me back to that place when it happened.
Okay.
So that I can go, oh, that's why such and such is nicknamed Meow.
Meow. Oh, I like that one. So
I'm keeping it PG.
Hey, you go PG-13. You do you. So
no. No.
So any interesting or funny nickname stories you got? You or somebody else you know. Not to say their name.
Well, I have a nickname. I freaking hate my nickname, and I will not acknowledge the nickname.
I'm not gonna say yours.
I refuse to even credit the nickname. So that nickname doesn't exist.
You had to be there.
You had to be there.
But any other nicknames that you feel are worth sharing? Because we're not gonna get to yours. I'm not gonna get to you.
I'll give a story. I'll give one story, and it throws in all the iconic, ironic, and memorable.
Okay.
And it's with our man TC.
All
But
right.
TC's original nickname wasn't TC. It was Out of Order.
Okay.
And this all rolls back to a Laughlin trip that we did. And TC originated in Laughlin, but in the origination of the nickname, what I found out is that TC is a god at pool.
What?
You would have never known this.
Huh.
Like totally. I mean, I'm thinking to myself,
I have to see it.
I'm the math guy. We're playing pool, and there was a bar, believe it or not, in Laughlin. So weird.
Wow.
And we're playing pool, and I'm thinking I'm going to smoke this dude, and he freaking gets up and runs the table.
I would have never even.
Meanwhile, hammered, to where there was a sticker on the other pool table because it wasn't working, and it was out of order. Well, somehow the sticker got plastered to his forehead, and he was literally walking around with an out of order sticker on his forehead. Now,
there it is.
I have a very grainy picture of him where he's banging a Tom Collins in his hand, and on his forehead is this sticker that literally reads "Out of Order." So, like when I think of that, immediately it's memorable, it's iconic, and it's definitely ironic.
Yeah,
you know, like I can throw out Clint to you, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, and that's
only
it.
A few knew.
Clint.
Only a few know, actually. Yeah.
You know,
perfect.
Like I don't call AJ, I call him Papa Giorgio, or I just call him Papa.
Oh, perfect.
You know, Nick, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Nick Papa Giorgio.
Well, AJ.
Perfect. Exactly.
Wrong Nick.
That's a perfect segue for our next interview. So nice. Well, iconic, ironic. It all goes into this one. Awesome.
That's all I got.
All right. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Perfect. You the man. Thank you, man. I'll walk you. Oh, this is money, dude. I love it.
Got some students back there.
That's right. I love it, man. All right. I'm here with the AJ, Coach AJ. We're talking about nicknames. What goes into a good nickname?
Nicknames. So we're talking about nicknames today. A good nickname. Well, you can't go wrong with Nick.
Name.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah, he likes to be called lots of names.
That's true.
So good nickname. So I think there's got to be a story behind it.
Okay.
And some of those stories come, and they come naturally, and then somehow you end up with a name that could be pretty funny, and it might stick for a while.
More obscene, the more fun.
Yeah,
it is, right?
Then some could be really nasty and dirty and derogatory, but every time you hear it, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So,
do you got any funny stories? Any nickname?
Yeah, I do. I have a good one. So I went to this conference one time in Las Vegas, and I was checking in at the hotel. Like we're dropping on getting.
I like where this is going.
The car was getting valeted. So the person I was with is actually like one of my colleagues, one of my coworkers.
Okay.
And I hear him like just out of the blue say, Nick Papa Giorgio. And I kind of look, and well, I didn't know what was going on at the time. So we go up to the room, and
was he a civil engineer from Yuma?
So, yeah, math teacher from El Centro, actually Imperial. Those guys all live in Imperial for whatever reason. Anyway, so he gets into the bathroom, and I guess the bathroom was designed a little different, where the door was like it was like blinds, but they were like horizontal blinds, so you could actually not see through them, but you can hear directly through them.
Oh yeah.
So there I am, put my suitcase up, and you hear, and I go, like, open up the door, like, who's at the door? Who's at the hotel? We just got here. Open up the door. Well, apparently, we got our stuff, taken into the room for bellboy and whatnot. The guy I open up the door, and the guy goes, "I'm here for Nick Papa Giorgio. I'm dropping off his stuff." So I look, and I just hear in the bathroom, the guy starts, my buddy starts busting up laughing. He's like, and I'm like, okay, so there you go. His name's Nick now. Papa Giorgio. Nick Papa Giorgio.
Nice little movie reference
yes,
there.
Yeah,
I
so
like
you gotta love it. But yeah, and stuff like that. For whatever reason, people started calling me Ricky. So they started calling me Mr. Fowler.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't get it.
I don't even know who that guy is.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I heard that. Yeah, he has a good nickname though. His nickname, speaking of nicknames, they call him Big Slick Rick.
Oh
yeah, Big Slick Rick. Yeah,
I'll take that. Yes, sir.
I'm leaving off a key word there, but I mean, you guys know.
But those who know,
yeah, for sure.
So
we got a bunch of them on campus, and we can go down building to building to building, and we can have a party with.
We can be here for days.
Yeah.
Summer school
Hey, you got a nickname, young man?
No,
you need one.
You need one.
Yeah,
we'll get you one, Andres.
Good. Make you smile every day. You guys got nicknames? No nicknames? Okay, good talk.
Good talk.
Anyways, yeah, man.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Story.
You guys doing a heck of a job, and you guys subscribe to them. They have a good little merch channel there, our merch store.
We'll work on it.
If you punch in Big Slick Rick, you get 25% off on your first purchase. How about that?
All right, man.
All right,
gold,
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet. Nick Papa Giorgio, Ricky Fowler, Out of Order,
Those are
TC.
Those are money.
Yeah, but it's just.
I like the way Ryan just kind of like tells that story. I never knew Out of Order, you know. And those who
I'd never, all the years, and that was before I came and I started doing the Laughlin thing. Mm-hmm. So I'd never heard that story before. Now, the pool thing was interesting, that he's amazing at pool. And I can see that because he's crazy. He's really coordinated. He is absolutely.
He's a legend at OTL.
Yeah. Same thing. Actually, Izzy and AJ would be for the same reason. Just ridiculous hands, ridiculous core. I have stone hands. That's why they put me in the outfield. But, yeah.
So they put you on the bench.
Right at the pine.
But it was funny because like they didn't know we were interviewing each other.
Uh-huh.
We were interviewing them, and they both
They actually talked about each other.
And like, oh, that the same Nick Papa Giorgio story, and I was like, oh, that works. And then when I hear that nickname, it's funny because it's like the what is it? Vegas Vacation, National Lampoons.
Yeah, National
And
Lampoons.
so
Vegas
in the
Vacation.
movie, the guy comes up with a fake ID, and they call him Nick Papa Giorgio, you're a civil engineer from Yuma, Arizona. It's like, oh,
it was funny because it was from it's from Yuma.
So
I think the idea was like
that's funny.
Yeah, my son had a fake ID once, and his residence was in Yuma, and his name's Nick. So I mentioned it to him. He had no idea what it was like about Nick Papa Giorgio. My kid had no idea.
My little brother had a fake ID as well, and his name was Rene Castillo. Yeah. It was me.
So man, it's good interviews. I'm glad we did that. We've been talking about this episode for a while.
No, you know what? What comes to me also is one other nickname before we kind of wrap up is how some nicknames have a nickname to their nickname. And a classic example I can think of is one of my friends. He used to be my roommate, and we call him Pigeon. And I never even knew his real name until I moved in with him. And I was like, so who's rent check made out to? He's like, oh, to Pigeon. And I'm like, what's Pigeon's name? Yeah. I was like, oh, it's Jason. So shout out to Pigeon. But it's also come to a point where Pigeon got a nickname for his pigeon. Mm-hmm. So sometimes when we be out, we could be at a bar or something, and he'd show up, and our friends just start doing pigeon calls like, hoo, hoo, hoo. And so, Pigeon, and from there, Pigeon became Pigeone. So Pigeone, like a kind of like, I don't know, like a foreign kind of name. And then from Pigeone came Pijonski. And so Pijonski.
From a French to a Polish swing.
And then Pijonski became Jonski. So Pigeon, Pigeone, Pijonski, and Jonski.
From France to Poland to America.
All over the world. Yeah, all over the world.
Becoming American.
So, but yeah, I had to drop that one because it was a classic.
Yeah, we have good answers those from terms of endearment. And I love Ryan's iconic, ironic, and memorable. Takes me back. Yeah. So, sometimes we can make it nicknames, or some people nicknames are thrown out all the time, but like what makes it stick? And that's we'd love to hear more if you want to drop in the comments. Like, what are some things? What are some good nicknames you've heard, and what makes them stick? So you want to go to the
check it out.
Best all week.
So yeah, let's cap it off with the best thing you've seen all week.
Best thing I've seen all week was, I mean, besides some of these nicknames and stories we've heard, Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day was on Tuesday, and there was a bunch of kids getting, a bunch of students getting like Valentine's this, Valentine's that, chocolates, flowers, this and that. And you see other kids in the corner like, oh, you know, some kids don't give a crap. Some kids are like sad, right? So you know what? I'm a teacher of inclusion. I got to address the crowd. So I get up front of the crowd, all my class. All right, I need to address something that's really important. I want to address Valentine's Day. So I stood up in front of them, and I'm like, all right, to those of you who got flowers or candies, whatever, you have this special Valentine's, your girlfriend, or just whatever, hey, congratulations. We're all happy for you. But if you didn't get them, I want you to look at all the people who actually got some flowers and chocolates and everything like that, and look at them. And you could lay in the pleasure of knowing that their relationship's going to fail. You could be happy. You could be happy knowing that there's a very high percentage chance that your relationship's going to fail. And, you know, just by pure statistics, right? And so there, if you have a permission, you know, didn't yours make it? Because I'm still married to the girl I dated in high school, right? Like, right, so there are statistical anomalies, right? And we're not saying that we don't recommend that to anybody. Don't ever go with the anomaly. If you do, you know, good luck and have fun being happy, right? But no, their relationship's just going to fail. So congratulations, being happy. You're about to get your heart broke because love dies with the flowers, baby. That's the best I've seen all week.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? I'm going to have to stick to
everybody liked it. I mean, even the kids that got something, they all thought it was funny.
You took Cupid's there and you literally shot
blew it. So, I mean, but if I mean, like, that's our thing, right? You don't want kids to feel excluded. I mean, I'm in high school, junior high. There's no worse feeling in the world than knowing that there's teacher pets. Yeah. You're not one of them, or knowing that something's going on in the crowd and you're not a part of it. So, what's the best way to do it? To slam the people that are getting something good and have some fun with it. Even the kids that got Valentine's Day stuff, they enjoyed it. So
I want to make sure I pronounce this because I'm going to stick to the Valentine's theme.
Please.
Best thing I've seen all week. I love orchestra music. Like just instrumentals, I like the strings.
You just started this one.
Just like right now because I saw. So there's this orchestra called Orchestra Noir.
Okay.
And on Valentine's Day, they posted this clip of their orchestra rendition of 112's Cupid.
Yeah.
And it's money, dude.
Oh.
Like, it's money.
Okay.
So they have a guy on a saxophone, the guy on a guitar. The guy, you know, making beats, and it just puts it together.
I have no clue what you're talking about. And we would play a clip. It was freaking copyright things.
Yeah, so
we don't have the budget to be buying this stuff. But anyway,
Orchestra Noir, their rendition of 112's Cupid. I saw it. I was like, dude, this is legit. I actually posted it on my social medias.
Wasn't there a band called 112, and they actually had a song called Cupid?
That's exactly what I'm referring to. So Orchestra Noir played 112's Cupid song in orchestra.
I love that song. It makes me mushy.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
It was lovely. Very mushy. Great way to celebrate Valentine's Day.
So, if you had a special Valentine, congrats. And if you didn't, you know, hey, don't worry. Their relationship's going to fail, so we can congrats to that too. So...
On that note,
again, you have kids. I don't give a crap.
Hey.
They go down in flames.
Spread love, baby. Spread love.
Oh yeah.
Hey, so again, what are some of your favorite nicknames? Nickname stories. We'd love to hear them.
Or even criteria.
Or whatever. Let us know. Drop them in the comments. Share with us.
No wrong answer. Always a good time.
We're looking forward to good stories.
Hey,
share them. Boom. Have another one. See you guys next time.